Hey, Mike Robertson, Robertson Construction. Thanks for tuning in to view this video on crown molding. Now, crown molding is can be very difficult for people when they want to install it themselves. They usually hire a professional to come in and do it, but with a little instruction, you should be able to do it yourself. My dad always told me when you started installing crown, it was a little confusing because you'd have to cut it upside down and backwards. And what I mean by that is the little detail at the bottom is how it goes up on the wall. Little details at the bottom of it. And then the high detail goes to the top. But when you cut it, you have to flip it over, which would be upside down, and then you gotta pretty much cut it backwards. That's the way I remember. So basically, if you're looking at this being the bottom instead of the top, and let's say you're on an inside corner, you'll know that on an inside corner, you need to come this way because this is going to touch the inside wall and this is going to be flaring out. On the opposite side, coming into the inside corner, you would do the same thing, come in here. You'd come from the top down. That would be for an inside corner. For an outside corner, you'd leave it the same way. The detail that normally is at the bottom is on the top because you flipped it over. And you'll leave the bottom part, the high part, is going to be the long part now, and you're going to come in on a 45-degree angle. And here on a 45, and I'll show you that. Now this is my compound miter. It's a Bosch, and depending on which one you have, you may have to adjust it differently. But what you want to do is make sure that the blade is straight up and down at 0, and that's set to the back. Usually you'll have the guide in the back. Okay, so another thing I do is I put blue tape on top here on the table and I mark it with a permanent marker. Pencil tends to wipe off if you're doing a lot of crown. And you're going to put the crown upside down again with the detail, which would normally when you installed it be at the bottom. It's going to be on the top. You're going to set the crown so it's nice and tight on both edges here and on the table. And you're going to mark that. Now, if you can remember this, if you're cutting over on this side to your right, if you're going to be cutting and the blade is to your right, facing away from you, that is going to be for an inside corner. Okay? If you move this over here to 45 degrees and you just slide this over to cut the same side, this now is going to be set for an outside corner. So I always mark it on here. I put, if the blade is to my left, inside corner, blade is to my right, outside corner, if you're here. And then on this side I mark, if the blade is to my left, it's going to be an outside corner. And if the blade is to my right, with the wood on my right-hand side, it's going to be an inside corner, if you understand. And I'll show you that in a second when I cut it, okay? Okay, so again, you've made your measurements, let's say, off the wall, and you know that you're going to be going to the corner on the right side, and you need a inside corner. So it's going to be that way. You just draw it on there. You're going to have to flip it over, set it on your line that you have, right? And then you're going to turn the blade to your right for an inside corner at 45 degrees. You're going to bring it over so that the blade comes near the top. You're going to set it and hold it nice and tight. Check it. Come over here. And then go ahead and cut it. Okay, if you flip it over, that's going to now be an inside corner. Now, if we need the other side of that, obviously we need to come here, right? Just the reverse of it. If we flipped it over, now we know that we need to come to the 45 on the opposite side. Again, we're going to now do an inside corner to my left. Blade is on the left. So we'll set that on the line that we've already got on the tape. Bring it down, check it. Now what I'll do is I'll just cut it in half and show you what the inside corner looks like. So if everything's correct, this should be an inside corner, like that. Okay, for an outside corner, again, you know the detail needs to be on the top. An outside corner now, instead of coming here for an inside, it's going to go from the bottom to the top, this way. And same on the opposite side, basically here. So you can just draw your lines just for a reminder for yourself. One thing about crown molding is when you start doing this, you'll realize that approximately $2 a lineal foot or more, you really don't want to make too many mistakes. So now we'll set this up on this side. We know for an outside corner on my left, the blade would then go to the right. So take it to a 45, set it on its line, and go ahead and cut it. We'll do the same thing on the other side. Here, we flip it over, make sure that the small detail's on. We can bring it over on this side. We're going to move this over to a 45. Set it on its line. Go ahead and take it to center. We'll show you what an outside corner is. Now we have an outside corner. Okay, so that was a quick demonstration on how to cut crown. Again, you need to make sure, to recap, that the crown is upside down when you're cutting it, and that you know what is an inside and an outside angle. And you're going to have to probably waste a little bit to kind of get it down, but that'll end up giving you your inside corners, and it'll give you your outside corners. And what I'll end up doing is on another video, I'll show you how to do bullnose corners. And also I'll be making a display that goes into a wall for a little cabinet, and we'll go ahead and crown the top of that out real quick. And we'll also make a like a mantle that will go on the wall that your cables can come through, and you can mount your TV above it and hide all the cables and your outlet inside that mantle. Okay, again, if you have any questions or comments, please make them and I'll try to get right back to you. I appreciate you watching, and take care.